In a recent post on X, Alex Jones shared a video that allegedly shows non-English speakers voting in the Pennsylvania election.
No, they had these people, they had about 12 of them walked in. They were all foreigners. And then they took them up. These younger people helped them to fill out they say vote PA today.
Yep.
And then
vote
they took them up
PA. Yep.
and somehow they beat a 2-hour line.
Here to discuss is Todd Bensman. He is a senior national security fellow for the Center for Immigration Studies. So, Todd, what do you make of this video when you saw this?
Well, my first thought was, we don't really know who these people are. I mean, they may not speak English, but as far as we know, they may be eligible to vote. But what we do know is that many states, I'm not sure if Pennsylvania is one of them, offer driver licenses to illegal immigrants, people that they call undocumented non-citizens or whatever you want to call them. And in the applications for these driver's licenses, they offer a register to vote button. And all you got to do is click on it and fill it out and you're registered to vote in a whole bunch of states. So I do think that the election is at some risk of people running in there and trying to stuff the ballot boxes illegally. It is a federal crime. Illegal immigrants are allowed to vote in some super blue jurisdictions in local elections, and there are different proposals for that. But federally, they could be prosecuted and thrown out of the country. I hope that they know that's out there, that information is out there, but who knows if in any of these jurisdictions that the feds want to use up, federal resources investigating things like that. We want them to, of course, but they may not want to. So I don't really have the whole story on that. That's not my report. That's an Alex Jones report. I watched it. It looks bad.
Yeah, Todd, this is just the season right? We'll get all kinds of reports all day long. I can predict between now and through Election Day when it comes to this sort of stuff. Nonetheless, we know that it's real and that a lot of naughty things, happen this time of year. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, one of the biggest things that I remember used to be standard operating procedure for anyone in politics was to absolutely deny that any non-citizens vote. Right up until recently, really. I mean, I feel like the mainstream right would not admit this either. Can we put a number on that? I mean, a percentage for non-citizens who may end up voting in elections?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that the Heritage Foundation put up a website where they are collecting data on election fraud and fraudulent voting scenarios across the country, cases that we know of, but I'm not sure that they break it down by citizen or non-citizen, that sort of thing. It occurs to me that I have seen cases, though, where they have been caught voting, that they were not supposed to be voting and that they have been caught voting in small numbers. But, in a tight election like this one's shaping up to be, small numbers matter. So I don't know what would possess illegal immigrants to come out in large numbers to do this at such great risk. They say they live in the shadows and that kind of thing, and they're looking over their shoulder and that sort of thing. But I wouldn't put it past vote harvesters to arrange some kind of operation where they're bringing people that are not eligible to vote to stations and paying them afterwards. That's what vote harvesting is. A lot of the cases on the Heritage website are vote harvesting cases where they abuse absentee ballots of the elderly or the sick or the dead, harvest them, fill them out for their candidate, get paid 10 or 20 bucks a piece and turn them in. That sort of thing happens.
Well, Todd, I see that you're in your office now. The last time we had you on the show, you were down in southern Mexico. So I need to ask you just the immigration update. Can you give us an update on that caravan that was trying to make it here before Trump gets elected?
Right. So, I spent a week down in Tapachula, which is the very southernmost city in Mexico, right on the Guatemala border. And what I found down there is the result of about 10 months straight of a Mexican military operation that Biden Harris arranged to improve the election optics at our border. It looked terrible having all those thousands of people crossing in December. And they couldn't brook that for another full year of campaigning. So they got the Mexicans to bring the troops out and haul them all down there and trap them in a kind of an enclave, like kind of almost like a Gaza Strip down there. And so I was in the middle of that, and there were thousands and thousands. I mean, it was incredibly crowded down there. The people are the government actually is trying to move them to other cities in Chiapas and Tabasco State, and they're allowing those caravans to move between cities, but they're still trying to keep most of them south for at least another 2 weeks. I mean, they've got to just hold the line. I mean, you can't have in the week before the election and the American election, thousands and thousands now start to cross. So those caravans are mostly going into other cities in Chiapas. I traveled with one for a full day, and it was not going to the U.S. border. It was going to another city. They're going into Mexico City. But man, let me tell you this. I interviewed many, many dozens of immigrants, and they are absolutely panicked that Donald Trump might win and close the border before they can get in. And they are pushing, pressing, looking for any opening in the Mexican cordon down there to get through, and they're starting to break through. We're starting to see more and more immigrants illegally cross the border. They just are desperate to get in before Donald Trump would win an election.
So Todd, I mean, what's going to happen then this week? I mean, do you predict once the election is over, does the border just burst again for a while?
Man, I really hope that I am dead wrong on this, but I am predicting a human wave, a huge wave of humanity. Once the Mexicans just say, okay, we did our part, we held them back during the campaign is over, we helped Harris get elected, or whoever, if Trump gets elected one way or another, I can't imagine that they're going to want to continue to hold back this unrestful, pack of, I mean, there are hundreds of thousands down there. Nobody knows really how many. 150,000 alone just in Tapachula, the most I've ever seen. I've been down there quite a bit. I've never seen it this packed, crowded, and man, they are just aching to get out of there, and the Mexicans are aching to let them go. That is a combination for a human wave of humanity, just a wave of humanity after November 5th sometime. Maybe it might take a couple weeks. If it's Trump, they know that they'll have about 10 weeks before inauguration. And I can't see that the Mexicans wouldn't want to just clear the lines, clear the pipelines down there. I mean, it's crazy what's going on in their southern provinces.